Hello everyone, myself Vinod Salunge, working as Assistant Professor in Maharishi Parshuram College of Engineering. Today we are going to start lecture number 5, DC circuit analysis. Until now we have studied different behavior of the circuits, how inductor works, how resistor work, how capacitor work, and how they are work under the voltage and current. So all the parameters, as I said, all the work as a family to complete any circuit. So in our syllabus we have DC circuit analysis. We don't have AC circuit analysis. I have given the reason because electronics and telecommunication require a DC communication. That's why we have to relate that DC circuit analysis. So first we have to see some definitions. Linear elements. In an electric circuit, a linear element is an electrical element with a linear relationship between current and voltage. Resistors are the most common example of linear element. Other example includes capacitors, inductors and transformers. So what is meaning of linear elements? So linear elements are those, suppose I am increasing the voltage, same time current should be increased as proportional to the voltage. That is called as a linear element. So linearity comes with a proportionality between the two parameters. Next is nonlinear elements. A nonlinear element is the one which does not have a linear input output relationship. In a diode, for example, the current is non-linear function of the voltage. Most semiconductor devices have a non-linear characteristics. Suppose if you take the silicon diode or germanium diode, if you will learn in the EDC subject, parallelly EDC subject is going on. So in the EDC subject, you will understand that how the current and voltage will not change as suppose there is two parameter current and voltage. There in the x-axis there will be a voltage and y-axis there will be a current. So when we increase the voltage, current will not change proportional to the voltage. So that is called as a non-linearity. So diode is the perfect example for the non-linear element. Next is active elements. The element which generates or produces electrical energy are called as active elements. Some of the examples are batteries, generators, transistors, operational amplifiers, vacuum tubes, etc. So active elements is what? So those who generate the energy by themselves called as an active element. And suppose take an example of a human being. So human being is taking making energy their own selves called as that's why they are active elements. So like that example, the elements which generates or produces electrical energy are called as active elements. So as in the PPT they have given the example like battery generators. So generators will generate the energy, batteries will give the energy. So these are the transistors also. Operational amplifiers, what is transistor, what is operational amplifiers, you will study in the EDC subject. Passive elements, all elements which consumes rather than producing energy are called as a passive elements like resistor, inductor and capacitor. So those elements which like resistor, what resistor do? Resistor do the take the energy from the batteries and exhaust the energy to the other circuits. So that is called as a passive element. So they don't generate any energy, just they just take the energy from the other source and they will pass the energy or consume the energy by themselves, or it will transfer to the another element. In unilateral elements, voltage current relation is not same for both the direction, example diode and transistor. So for the diodes and transistors, the unilateral elements are this relation will not use. In bilateral element, voltage current relation is same for both direction, example is resistor. What is meant by bilateral? So resistor is giving, if suppose if you put the resistor in any way, then it can be work as a same way, same function it can put. So there is no any positive negative like other uh, uh, diodes. Also diode is having positive and a negative, so anode and cathode, so you have to put in a proper way, otherwise it will be burned due to the wrong connection, opposite connection. So that's why resistor is not having that much don't have any polarity like plus or minus, you can put anyway. Next is the voltage generated by the source does not vary with any circuit quantity. It is only function of a time. Such a source is called as an ideal voltage source. So the voltage generated by the source does not vary with the any circuit quantity. So that is called as a ideal voltage source. And the current generated by the source does not vary with the any circuit quantity. It is only function of a time. Such a source is called as an ideal current source. So ideal current source and ideal voltage source are the very important part in your circuit that we will realize when we will solve some examples or circuit analysis in the future. Resistance, it is the property of a substance which opposes the flow of current through it. The resistance of element is denoted by the symbol R. It is measured in ohms. R is equal to PL divided by A, ohms. So that is the way we can represent this resistance. Resistance means you can also in a English dictionary also you can use the word resist. Resistor means oppose. So it will oppose to current which is providing for any particular application. So if you don't want that much current, that time you have to put resistor into the way of a current. Into the way of a current. So that is called as a resistance. Ohm's law. So next is very important law, that is Ohm's law. What is Ohm's law? Ohm's law gives the relation between voltage and the currents. So voltage is directly proportional to the I when V is equal to R into I into R. So resistance is the proportionality constant. The current flowing through the electric circuit is directly proportional to the potential difference across the circuit and inversely proportional to the resistance of the circuit provided the temperature remains constant. So we have to give that consider that temperature is constant. So you can see here V of t is equal to R of t, R of t, Y of t is equal I of t. Current is moving time domain, V of t. T is a time, so time is a constant. Time should be a constant, otherwise this Ohm's law is not valid. So V of t is equal to R I of t. I of t is moving opposite now, so from minus to plus. See here, the current will always from higher potential to lower potential. See here, this plus means higher potential and current, this minus is a lower potential. So do remember this criteria. Current always flow from higher potential to lower potential. So resistance is there, and how much potential drop across this resistance is called as a V of t. So V of t is equal to what? I of t, how much current is passing through the resistance into R, that is called as a voltage drop across. So here V of t is equal to, how to calculate V of t across this resistance? V of t is equal to R I of t. Now here I of t is moving wrong direction, means I of t is moving from lower potential to the higher potential. That is not a case, that's why we have to put minus in that. So you can see in the flow of water, how the flow of water will this concept is working. When flow of water will be done through the higher of slope to the lower slope. So like that current also flow from higher potential to the lower potential. Next is basic laws of the circuit. Ohm's law directly proportional to the means of straight line relationship. So this is V of t, I of t. So when V of t is equal to R into I of t. The resistor is a model. And will not produce a straight line for all condition of operation. Ohm's law about resistor. The unit resistance is ohm. A mathematical expression for resistance is R is equal to rho L divided by A. L is the length of the conductor, meters. A is the cross sectional area, meter square, and rho is the resistivity, ohm meter. So same we have explained here also. Now we will apply something into this circuit. So Ohm's law example 2.1. Consider the following circuit. Here we have applied voltage of 115 volt RMS value, voltage applied at this here, and this resistance 100 watt light bulb. So we are applying the resistance here. Determine the resistance of the 100 watt bulb. So we have to find out the resistance of 100 watt bulb. P is equal to VI, V square divided by R, I square R. So R is equal to V square by P. P is what? That power, how much power generated, that is V into I. We know that we have studied in the physics how to calculate the power. V square by R, I square R. So anyway you can represent this power. So R is how to calculate R? P divided by R square. Otherwise you can represent this R by V square by P also. So what is how much voltage they are given? 115 square divided by 100 is equal to 132.25 ohms. So how much resistance will require for this 100 watt light bulb? We require 132.25 ohms. A suggested assignment is to measure the resistance of 100 watt light bulb with an ohm meter. Circuit definitions. Now here we will start with a circuit network analysis. Node. Any point where two or more circuit elements are connected together. Wire usually have negligible resistance. Each node has one voltage with respect to ground. So when any point where two or more circuit elements are connected together. So when the two circuit elements are connected, that is called as a node. Branch, a circuit element between two nodes called as a branch. What is loop? A collection of branches that forms a closed path returning to the same node without going through any other node or branches twice. We will take an example for that. So how to explain nodes and branches and loops. So here we have how many nodes and branches and the loops are given. So I am requesting you to put the values of the nodes and how many branches are there. So you have to put into the chat box. So I am giving 15 seconds to you. So see that and put how many nodes, how many branches are there. Anyone? Okay, you put into the chat box. I will see later because I can't see right now. Okay. So voltage supply is there, resistance 1, resistance 2, resistance 3, and voltage, that is current. So how many nodes are there? 3 nodes are there. So 1. What is the definition of node? When we are connecting two elements are called as a node. So two elements means this is element, this one is element, this is element. Okay. R1, this voltage supply, R2, R3 and this current source are the elements. So if you connect these two elements, if between these two elements there is a one node. Now you can see that, you will see that this is second, this is third, this is fourth. No, because there is no any element between them, so we can consider all these three as a one. So there is considered as a one element. Here also in between these there is a node. Suppose there will be some resistance here, then you can increase that node, but there is no any element. We have seen that wire has a negligible resistance, so we don't consider this as a resistance. So that all these we are connected together and this considered as a node. So how many nodes are there? 3, 1, 2 and 3. 5 branches. So how branches we can see? When two elements, between two elements, if you are connecting the wire, then it's called as a branch. So there is a branch. So this is one branch, second branch, third branch, fourth branch and fifth branch. So like that we can calculate. So how many loops are there? What is the definition of loop? So it will start from one point and it will not repeat again that same node. So it will start from here, it will come from same at the same point. Now for the second, I will go and I will go cross this and I will come and cover this, that is second and third. So 3 loops are there. I will count as this one loop, this two loop and this third loop. This also correct. Basic laws of the circuit. This is now very important. Basic laws of the circuit. Kirchhoff's current law. As a consequence of law of the conservation of charge, we have the sum of the current entering a node junction point equal to the sum of the current leaving. So that is the current IA plus IB plus IB is equal to IC plus ID. So how many the currents which are coming at the node R is equal to the currents going out of the node. So how many currents are incoming? IA and IB are the currents are incoming. IC and ID are outgoing. So IA plus IB is equal to IC plus ID. So that is the Kirchhoff's current law. Very simple law. Basic laws of the circuit. Kirchhoff's current law. So again we'll take another example. The algebraic sum of the currents having a node equal to 0. So we have to take all these at the left hand side. So previously what we were doing, we were taking as a IA plus previously we were taking IA plus IB, IC plus ID at the right side, but we have to take all these equations in the left hand side. So how many incoming currents here for this? This is different example. So IA, IB, IA plus IB. Now this is also incoming current, but their sign is minus. So we have to take as a minus IC plus ID is equal to 0. This is a minus IC means what? It is outgoing current, but direction is opposite. That's why we have put this minus. Now take this example. In this example, how we can write the equation? IA, where is IA? IA is outgoing. Then now majorities all are outgoing. So we have to take as a IA minus IB plus IC plus ID is equal to 0. So Kirchhoff's current law example 2.2, find the current Ix. So you just try to find out the current Ix. I hope you will try. I will give you 30 seconds. I hope you will not require that much 30 seconds for you. put it into the chat box. I will check who are giving answers very fast, prominently. Okay. Basic laws of the circuit. So Kirchhoff's current law. Examples: find the currents IW, IX, IY and IZ. So try to find out these currents. Again I will give you for this circuit I will give you 1 minute. You just put the values IW, IX, IY, IZ. Okay. I hope you have put the values into the chat box. Now Kirchhoff's current law. Kirchhoff's current law can be generalized in a include a surface. We assume the element within the surface are interconnected, a closed 3D surface. We can now apply Kirchhoff's current law in a 3 forms we discussed with a node. Appearance might be follows. So current entering and leaving a closed surface that contains interconnected circuit elements. So this is the application of Kirchhoff's current law. Kirchhoff's voltage law. The algebraic sum of all voltages around each loop is equal to 0. So beginning the one node and voltage across each branch in the loop. If you encounter a plus sign first and subtract voltage if you encounter a minus sign first. Voltage drop is minus summation of voltage rises is equal to 0. It is very simple. We will see in the example. When a given circuit with a source and resistor having a fixed value, you can use Kirchhoff's two laws and Ohm's law to determine all the branch voltages and the currents. So here we have to apply the voltage law. Kirchhoff's KVL means all the voltages around this loop is equal to 0. So 12 volt voltage drop across this VAB, VAC is all summation of all these sources, voltage sources is equal to 0. So here by Ohm's law VAB, how to calculate VAB? VAB we can calculate V is equal to Ohm's law. What Ohm's law said, V is equal to IR. So that's why VAB is equal to IR, that is 1.7 ohm. And VBC is how to calculate VBC according to the Ohm's law, I into R. How much I is current coming? I is this notation only. We have to put I into resistance, that is 3 ohm resistance. So I into 3 ohm. Now we have to apply KVL. By KVL, VAB plus VBC, VAB plus VBC minus 12. Now here why minus 12? Why this VAB is plus, VBC is plus, and why this 12 is minus? Reason behind that, I told you that current always flow from higher potential to lower potential. Here we have seen that this current is flow from higher potential plus to minus, but here the current we think that the current flow from minus to plus. So that is opposite to our consideration. That's why we have to put that minus sign. That is VAB plus VBC minus 12 volt is equal to 0. So substituting 1.7 ohm, I into 7 ohm plus I into 3 ohm minus 12 volt is equal to 0 into that equation, this equation. So by solving it will come I is equal to 1.2 ampere. So example of the circuit. So solve for the current through the each resistor and the voltage across each resistance. So this problem is for homework. So I'm giving you this problem for your homework. Just try to solve this problem and calculate that current I1, I2 and I3. I hope you will solve this problem carefully. As I said, apply the KCL and KVL whatever you want and solve this I1 and I2, calculate I1, I2 and I3. Okay, so in the chat box or to the WhatsApp group you can put the answers as early as possible. Hope you will solve this circuit as early as possible. I will appreciate those who are giving answer to the priority or the first. So today we will stop this lecture. In the next lecture we will see more examples on the KCL, KVL. So that will require in the further discussion about the different laws like Thevenin theorem, Norton theorem. So for that purpose we require this KCL and KVL. So we'll solve more problems. I will give you more problems on the in the WhatsApp group also. So thank you for today's lecture.